Good afternoon, ladies and gents. My name is Miguel, or you can call me Mighty Migs, or even Coach Migs. But today's episode of Passion for Acting podcast, we have my good mate who's also coming back for the second time. How are you, Hassan?
Good, man. How are
Pretty
you?
good. You know what? This is probably the highlight of my day. Hopefully it only gets better for both of us. But before we go further ahead, I'd like to mention that the sponsor of this episode is actually Sydney Actors Association. So visit the Instagram page on the description box below. And if you're an actor actually looking to sharpen their craft in any way, shape, or form, this could be the right place for you. Just tell them that Miguel or even Hassan sent you. And our good friend Sam Haft will look after you in the best way he can, because he's a good man. Anyway, without further ado, Hassan, we're going to talk about our favorite, top 5 favorite movies of all time. So you start off with your one. You can either go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or because for me, when it's my turn, it's going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But it's up to you.
Same. I'll do the reverse order. And I'm excited. Wow. Choosing my 5 favorite films, man, that was such a challenge. And I had to I couldn't cram everything in that I loved. So I've actually got 7, but I'm going to use 3 as honorable mentions here. I've got 3 quick honorable mentions. I had to put them in because they all influenced me in a different way. And I'm going to start off actually with a film called Om Shanti Om.
Om Shanti Om.
Om Shanti Om. So Om Shanti Om, it is a film, it's a romantic, it is comedic, it is a musical, it is heartbreaking. It's a brilliantly made Bollywood film starring Shah Rukh Khan. So I watched this film a long time ago when I was young, and I still remember it to this day. It's got a fantastic story. It's about a man who dreams of becoming an actor, and along the journey, he falls in love with an actress. However, cultural and political affairs collide, and both of them must be tested on how far they're willing to go for one another in order to survive. Of course, there's way more to it, but it's just best to check it out. This actually, Om Shanti Om, this was the movie that made me first say, for the first time, there is talent outside of Hollywood.
Okay.
This was the film that kind of imprinted that saying in my mind.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Om Shanti
Om
Om.
Shanti Om. I think I've heard that before because, I've had a few Indian clients in the past, and they told me we talk about Bollywood stuff like Main Hoon Na. That's another good Bollywood film by Shah Rukh Khan. Kante, Kante with a double A, Nte, Kaante, and no entry.
Wow.
So those are good ones there. So what's Shah Rukh Khan's character like in that film?
In Om Shanti Om, he lives with his mother, and I can't remember who the other character is. Definitely not the father, but he basically lives at home with his mum, and he wants to become an actor. Now he has an idol, which is the lady that he ends up falling in love with. I forgot her name. Shanti. Stupid me. It's Shanti. Her name is Shanti. Therefore, the name of the film. But I'm really not doing the film justice, but her name is Shanti. And he's got posters of her on his wall in his room, like he's infatuated with her. And she's sort of like an inspiration for him, As he gets out there, he, without spoiling much, he has the chance to actually meet up with her, see her. They both have this, there's a romance, there's chemistry that builds up between them. However, for Shanti, she's in a bit of a situation with her family where they are very extreme. They want her to go one way, they don't want her to go the other way. And she's not happy with what her family wants for her. She wants what she wants, which is Shah Rukh Khan's character. But unfortunately, the people that her parents are involved with they don't like to take no for an answer, and they'll go pretty far to the point where, as I said, by no exaggeration, Shah Rukh Khan's character and Shanti literally have to test each other how far they'll go to survive. It gets a bit intense, but being an Indian Bollywood musical film as well, it's got a bit of comedy elements, very light-hearted elements too, sprinkled in I think, a very heartbreaking story.
So is it both comedy and dramedy?
Definitely got a lot of comedy. I mean, it's I don't want to say it's got the typical elements that Bollywood films do, because I know that they've got a lot of diversity in their films as well. But if you watch most of Shah Rukh Khan's films, just out of nowhere, they have musical elements that come in here, and they're very lighthearted, and there's a bit of a laugh you can have in there as well. And they know how to do it. They don't overdo it, I feel. That's one of the cool things I like about these films from Bollywood. Especially Shah Rukh Khan's one. They don't overdo it, I think. I think it's just enough for you to kind of take a bit of a tea break watching the musical. But it's also, even the lyrics ties in with the story as well, and how they're feeling for each other. It's kind of cool.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, because does it obviously have some musical stuff in it, right? Like,
A lot.
a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah. Because like, what?
Even the name of the film, Om Shanti Om, that's the music as well. That's the name of one of the songs that they sing.
Oh, okay, okay. Shanti Om. Yeah, because I think that might be
Yeah.
Netflix. So what are?
I think it might be on there, actually.
Okay, I'll double check it afterwards. Yeah. So yeah, because
Yeah.
what I like about the Bollywood stuff, because I'm not big in Bollywood. Like, I don't dislike it either. But what the trademark is, like, a pretty girl walks into the room, all of a sudden guys with violins are singing or just playing,
Yeah.
and then it's windy, and then in the middle of a indoor
Yeah.
place like this. But it may be cheesy, but it's actually their thing, their actual trademark, one of their trademarks.
It
Anyway.
is. It's almost a culture thing, And I think the good thing about this film, as far as I can remember, yes, there are musical elements in there, but it doesn't take up like half the film, not even close. I mean, it's actually a long movie as well. It's a very long film. If I remember correctly, too, when you watch the film, something happens around the middle of the film that you think is the end. It's not. You're only halfway through the film. It is a long movie. So where something happens and you're like, where's it going to go from here? There's a continuation that happens. I think some films from Bollywood has this actually. They literally put a text in the middle of the film called intermission.
Like Three Idiots, I think. Yeah, Three Idiots is similar. Yeah.
Yeah. They have that. They have it like once or twice throughout the whole movie.
Yes. Because in that one,
It's a long
yeah,
film.
keep talking.
Yeah, no, it's just it's a long film, and most of them they have that in there just to sort of let people know that, hey, it's not the end yet.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good point. Just like Snyder's cut of Justice League. Remember how like it's a 4-hour one, like they have it in
Yeah.
chapters, which is actually better because like the original edition was just like pretty mediocre in my opinion.
I think so. Yeah. I remember watching that film as well for the first time, the first version that released on cinemas. I liked it at the time, but then I saw the plot, the holes that people were pointing out. But I still liked it just because, bloody, it's Superman. And the only thing I hated was that they made him lose. But I know it's according to the comics and whatever thing they were following. But I actually haven't seen Snyder's cut
Oh,
yet.
you haven't?
No idea. I have no
It's
idea
4
why.
hours, bro.
And I know it's a better version. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Man. Especially when everyone's saying that it's
I
better.
think because like the 4 hours, it's a little bit slower, but it's just the good lead ups, So if you watch it, the words can't describe how good it is because like I remember watching the first edition, I just didn't like it. I'm thinking that was just like a waste of my 2 hours or something like that. But but when they
Yeah.
prolonged it, it was so much better. I mean, watching that in the cinemas, I mean, was it possible? Maybe. Just because there's new movies out there that are 3.5 hours long, but this is 4 hours long, literally
Yeah.
4 hours long.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But yeah,
100%.
Om Shanti Om. Okay, so what is your number 4?
That's my first honorable mention. I've got another honorable
Yep.
mention, just quickly as well. Ong Bak 2.
Ah, yes.
Ong Bak 2. Oh man. And again, this is how hard it was to get. We're not even at my top 5 yet. This is how difficult it was for me. Ong Bak 2 was the film that inspired me to take on fight choreography. Because to be honest, man, I have yet to watch a martial art film to this day that could surpass the creativeness of Ong Bak 2's fight scenes. Case in point, it has everything, this film. It has hand-to-hand combat, 1 versus 1, 1 versus many, multiple weapons used, one after the other. Not just the weapons, but quite literally the environment. The whole environment would be used against them as well. For God's sake, they even had an elephant involved in the film. They had an animal involved in the film as well. As if they couldn't go anymore. I think all the Ong Bak films are great, but Ong Bak 2 created something, beauty in the art of what some people would call violence.
Yeah.
There is real beauty in there, especially when you try to put yourself in the actor's shoes and think how tiring and exhausting and the labor of work you'd have to put into the constant action.
Yeah, Tony Jaa. Yeah.
Some people these days are not a fan of action scenes that go on for too long. And I can understand that if the longevity of a fight scene is dragged on for more than it's needed. However, for Ong Bak 2, whilst the action in the movie is very long, the context of the story leading up to the fights makes sense. It was necessary.
Oh wow, that's in my to watch list tonight. I'm not gonna watch
Yeah.
The Fugitive first, then I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah. Ong Bak 2, man, amazing. And that's my second
Honorable mention.
what do you call it? Yeah, honorable mention. Now, this was about to be in my number 5 until last minute I hit myself in the head as to why this movie wasn't in there, and I'm gonna get to that soon. But this next movie is called New Police Story.
Jackie Chan,
New Police Story. Now, I'm sure a lot of Jackie Chan fans are familiar with the Police Story films. Police Story 2, 3, and 4. All of them have a common theme. Crime and the action-packed scenes that we all know and love Jackie Chan for. However, 2004's New Police Story was essentially a reboot of the series, the franchise, where it really took a darker turn. It took a darker turn of loss, love, and fear of the antagonists involved. Very early on in the film, you watch things take place where people are taken out one by one. It's a super intense theme of actual organized crime conducted by a professional criminal gang. This film will have you on the edge of your seat, man, as you watch and wonder how Jackie's character will persevere through the tough situations he's put in with people who enjoy watching others suffer.
Wow.
I still remember the exact same feeling. That I felt upon watching the movie's opening. The music that plays right at the beginning. The orchestral opening. Hearing that, I knew it was going to be a more dramatic film than any other Police Story movie has been.
Okay, yeah, because I haven't seen that fully. I started watching it on Netflix one night, but I just fell asleep. But I haven't resumed it.
Yeah.
But big fan of the first 3 because I remember like the first 3, it had that typical Jackie Chan humor. And the second one, apparently, I remember that the one where he's in the shopping center and just slides down that light. And he was actually unconscious by the time he ended up. He could have died.
Damn near burnt himself, man. Yeah. The guy's insane what he's been able to do. And I think, obviously, every Police Story film has had its iconic stunts in there. But for New Police Story, obviously the film is no short of stunts itself. But what stands out from New Police Story compared to the other ones is it is a much darker, more dramatic film.
Less comedy.
Much more dramatic.
Less comedy as well.
Barely any comedy. In fact, the comedy in the film doesn't even come from Jackie Chan. It comes from another character.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I think with New Police Story, I was going to say, I was going to say something, but I forgot. Never mind. I forgot. It shot out my mind for some reason. But yeah, New Police Story is a unique film. Actually, I remembered. Never mind. Remember when the film came out, The Foreigner from Jackie Chan with Pierce Brosnan? Jackie was saying that he wanted to test himself in a more dramatic role and show that off that he can portray in a very dramatic role away from his usual stuff. He said that about The Foreigner, a much more recent film compared to New Police Story. I think he already demonstrated that in New Police Story, if not more than The Foreigner, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen The Foreigner. I like that movie. I've forgotten about that, because I'm a big fan of Pierce. He's my favorite Bond actor. So I wouldn't mind watching it again. But, I think, you're right. Because from what I remember in the beginning of that New Police Story film that I actually watched, he seemed more serious than the previous one. So... And then plus, because remember that's what made him famous in the first place, the comedy and the stunts, So if he did the same thing as Bruce Lee did, he would have been just like one of those Bruce Lee wannabes,
Yeah, and he knew that as well, which is why he was one of the smarter people amongst other, I guess, similar actors at the time. He went different, He even said it in an interview himself, where Bruce Lee would kick high or kick low, I kick high. If he kicks high, I kick low. If he punches, if I punch. He did all that. I remember his interviews like it happened yesterday, but it just shows how it was a very smart thing that he did.
Yeah, because that was the era when people wanted to be the next Bruce Lee, and there was only going to be one Bruce
Yeah.
Lee. Yeah, and then even Van
Yeah.
Damme, like didn't speak much English, and he had a very similar thing. How am I going to be the next Bruce Lee? But then he found out that
Yeah.
I'm going to be Jean Claude. Because remember his real name is Jean Claude Van Verenberg.
That's right. That's
And
right.
then
Yeah.
because obviously he's it wasn't his acting coach, but it was him. Actually, he was his acting coach at the time. Said no, you should change your name to Frank Cujo, and yeah, no, it was his acting coach, but then his agent said, no, Frank Cujo sounds more like a firefighter. You're a martial artist, so why don't you just keep your name Jean Claude? It's a very nice name, and then you could actually just you can change your surname if you want. He goes, oh, maybe Van Damme, so that's what I mean. But going back to Jackie Chan there, like that was a smart thing to him to do because he was actually into the Dragon as well. Like
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Enter the Dragon. He was in a few other films that had Bruce Lee in it as well. One that we're going to get to as well soon.
Okay. Well, I'm keen to hear number 5 now, brother.
We're now at number 5. Now we're in the top 5 territory, and I'm going to kick it off with. And this is tough, dude, but I placed 007 GoldenEye.
Oh,
my number 5, 007 GoldenEye. We were speaking about Pierce Brosnan just a moment ago, right? No question. Like you, I am a super fan of the James Bond 007 movies. I've watched all of them, appreciated all the good, all the bad, and all the ugly films. And however, just wondering if you can still see me. It's saying reconnecting in the middle. Let's give this a moment. Looks like we're reconnecting here.
Hello. Hey, brother,
you back online?
Yeah, we're back online. Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. My bad. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah. Just check your connection. Yeah. So
maybe you know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Let me change locations. Something happened to the Wi-Fi here.
Yeah, it could be the Wi-Fi, boss. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to move positions. Maybe that'll help out with the Wi-Fi. Wait, how do I turn the camera off? Hold on.
Sure. Yeah, take your time, boss.
Just gonna move locations quickly. Maybe it's the Wi-Fi cut off. So I'm gonna have to rely on my 5G.
All good. Oh, using your mobile phone. Oh, that's right, because you got that fully sick mobile phone anyway.
It's a fully sick mobile phone.
Yes. Oh, you made it fully sick. Fully sickened.
For Samsungs, they are fully sick.
Oh yeah. I've never been an iPhone person, but you know what? I stick to Samsungs. I mean, Samsung has let me down once in the past, but I forgive them. Okay. Whenever you're ready, brother.
Feedback. Just a little repositioning. I'm going to put something here as a stand. And then, well, the Wi-Fi's back, which it decides to come back on right after I move positions. Well done. That's awesome.
Yeah, just turn on the video whenever you're ready.
Alrighty. How are we looking?
It's blank from my end. I can't see you. I mean, you probably turned off the lights, but it's all good.
Oh, maybe. I'll never turn it back on. Never mind. Not working.
Yeah, for a split second there, it was actually working. There we are.
Yep. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Sweet. Well, the Wi-Fi decided to come back on the moment I moved position, so doesn't matter. I'm going to stay here now.
No, it's all good. Don't worry. We'll probably just keep that editing. I'll figure it out later. Anyway, so tell us, GoldenEye, yeah?
GoldenEye, man. So, I was saying that I watched all of them and I appreciated all of the James Bond films, right? I watched it all, the good ones, the bad ones, the ugly ones. So that I got to that before. And however, it was GoldenEye that introduced me to 007, to my favorite Bond of all time, Pierce Brosnan, and my favorite James Bond villain, Alec Trevelyan. who of course was played by the super talented Sean Bean, who one does not simply know how talented of an actor he was. See what I did there?
Yep. Yep. Keep talking.
He, yeah. I like to believe that it was actually the video game GoldenEye that got me introduced to watching GoldenEye the film. Because whilst I remember whilst I was watching GoldenEye film for the first time, I was like, wow, I cannot believe this movie recreated all the level design from the game and got the perfect cast that looked like the game characters. I was young back then. Obviously, eventually I knew that it was the other way around. Yeah, no. 007 GoldenEye, top 5. Number 5 favorite film for me.
Yeah, confession as well, because that's my very first Bond film that I've actually watched. And back then, growing up, I wasn't really much into Bond because, like, I figured him out like already as a young age. Like, he meets a guy who wants to destroy the world, stops him, and he meets a few women, sleeps with them, or most of them. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh, it's just another typical movie. But then it was just like the James Bond character. Like, like he's someone who's just like stoic, emotionally mature, and just like somebody who just doesn't panic or barely panics in the middle of a crisis, or like he just tries to get things under control, and he tries to find his way out of any impossible looking situation. So that's what got me hooked, because like I remember watching a dating advice thing from a girl. I mean, it's not always a good idea to actually get dating advice from the opposite gender, because it's like asking a fish how to catch a fish. But she said something along the lines of like, because older man, the title was like older man dating tips. And because back then I was actually just like losing like a bit of confidence. It's like, oh man, I'm getting older. The girl's not going to dig me. I'm not going to be as valuable. But then she, reassured every one of us older men listening that don't worry, older men possess traits that women find attractive, such as confidence, knowledge, experience, and being stoic. And have you noticed that even like, younger girls at the age of 23, 24, or even 25 are actually dating men who are 10 years or even older? It's because women are attracted to those traits. And he said like one example that even though he's a fictional character that you should emulate or just like, try to copy is James Bond himself, because there's a reason why most characters most actors who actually played him were already in their 40s, because any younger doesn't suit the role. And I'm thinking, and then all of a sudden I started learning how to develop my James Bond character in real life, and then that's how I become a fan. And that's why when you told me that, it was a great compliment, not just you, but with everybody else that I played James Bond well, and that when with Amelia Conway, I wouldn't say it's completely natural, but I just knew how to switch it on, because I learned how to do that in real life, and I became a big fan of that thing. So it is what it is. So yeah. So
love that, man. Honestly, I believe it. I think what's amazing is film characters and video game characters alike. There is something that you watch from when you really fall into a character and you really love the way like you love the character, and it can sort of when you spend time with them for a certain long amount of time throughout your life, you begin to adopt certain traits of these characters as well, and that's how you build your own character. We are pretty much sort of like a chameleon of other traits of other characters or people or even things. It's weird how the brain can take something that you wish you'd had yourself, but then you emulate it, and in time you start to, if you really care about it, you master how to use it for yourself uniquely.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because before we go into number 4, I'll tell you a funny story. Because I know he's going to be listening to this, but I had a schoolmate in my year. He's an Afghan guy. Back then I didn't like him too much, but he's nowadays when we see each other here in St. Leonard's, hey, what's up, bro? Like we're adults now. Yeah. So his name is Tariq, right? But one guy he used to love in his like when he used to watch WWE, is The Rock, and the way he used to emulate The Rock in every shape or form, it was just like. Back then I used to think, what a douche. But then nowadays, he and I laugh at it, because like, whenever I introduce him to other people, but back at school, man, this guy was the Afghan Rock. And, and and he and I just laugh about it, because the way he emulated him, just like the eyebrow, and just like the way he, the eyebrow, or just like the way I remember like giving an essay speech like in English about like our lively childhood. He was talking like The Rock, and he did it well. Back then, a few of us, including my mate Mohammed, like we were just like looking at him like, what an idiot, blah blah blah. But then nowadays he did it well, because he used to idolize The Rock. You know what I mean? But yeah, I know he'll be listening to this. But you know what? It's a compliment now that I looking back. Back then it was different, but nowadays we can laugh at it. You know what I mean?
It's actually, in hindsight, I suppose it's good to sort of to take that on too. 'Cause I mean, when The Rock speaks, full of confidence, takes controls the damn crowd. Like, he makes the crowd do what he wants them to do. Do you think he's good?
I like him. Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you think.
It doesn't matter what your name is, and it's like, know your role and shut your mouth and get yourself to the jabroni tribe and stuff like that.
If you smell what the
It's
Rock
cooking,
is
cooking.
Yeah, I love it, man. Yeah, cue the music.
Exactly.
Such a cool thing, man. People created amazing things, then it's okay to take that upon yourself if it helps you create your own identity later on. But that all takes time.
And it takes time. It gets instilled, just like the James Bond character, So it's not just the James Bond character playing the James Bond in short films like we're about to do, but in real life, So it's more like, just like, of course, he's not God, he's not a prophet or anything like that. He's not an angel, he's not a saint, but it's just we can learn from his character traits. Like, stick to the mission and stay stoic and keep your emotions under control. But anyway, what's your number 4, boss? I'm dying to know.
Number 4 is where it hits me more on an emotional level. So it's actually a more recent film amongst the list that I have. Joker, 2019's Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix. So Joker 2019 is one of my all-time favorite films. One of the ways I can describe it is I couldn't be the only person who has had thoughts of myself attending an event and having an idol of mine picking me out, noticing me amongst the crowd. That's just a reference to what actually happens during the film. But a lot of events happen in the film that I could definitely understand and see myself in. It's I love the mental health and psychological aspect take on the Joker. It has a more human take, a realistic approach. There's a strong message behind the work of fictional characters, but a very real message.
Yeah.
I love the idea of an audience watching something happening on screen and not knowing the truth behind it until you either get the answers around the third act of the film, or you must figure it all out after it ends. And this is really, really good because this is what leads audiences rewatching the film. This is what leads to social media channels creating videos and giving it the title "Ending Explained." It makes somebody wants to learn more about what am I missing here. That it attracts a lot of attentions. Even now, Joker 2019, the aspect of mental health and what you think you're seeing compared to the actual truth that you'll eventually realize. That idea, that element, is actually an inspiration that I'm taking to the script that I'm currently writing now.
So you're talking about the Joker. Tell us more about it, boss.
Yo, Joker. So yeah, pretty much like I said, this is the Joker, the psychological element, the essence of what you think you see, and then the truth behind that later on. That is an element that I took as inspiration for a script that I'm currently writing at the moment. So the mental health aspect of the Joker serves a heavy influence and inspiration for me. Yeah, so that's my number. Yeah, number 4. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Before we go to number 3, because look what my acting coach Sam Haft says. People come to see us perform to see themselves, to watch themselves, how they can relate to the character. So, you being able to relate to the Joker character in some way, shape, or form, and that's probably the reason why you like it so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's definitely pretty much how you said it. It's the realistic approach about what could really have an individual fall so far from grace just purely based off the unfortunate circumstances and situations that happens around him with what little you have control of. So yeah, it's definitely a very powerful film that to this day I often always talk about. It's one of my absolute favorite films of all time.
See, I see. Okay, but each to their own. I prefer Heath Ledger's Joker, but like I said, everyone's got a different
Yeah.
reason why. But anyway, number three, boss. What's number
Number
tres?
three. Number three, tres. Now, the film is called Dark Warrior, otherwise known as Dark Assassin in the US. So, Dark Warrior starring Jason Yee, who I think had the best Bruce Lee look I have ever seen. Gotta look him up. So, it's the film Dark Warrior, or again, Dark Assassin, was written and directed by Jason Yee himself. Jason Yee with a Y. He wrote it. He I believe produced it as well and starred in it as well. It's an indie film. Produced with a super low budget but extremely well made. The story of Dark Warrior is unique, especially now when when you have so many films tackling ongoing series rather than the output of new storylines, and new universes. So, in terms of the film itself, you have a former criminal and ex-mercenary, Derek Wu, who was known for committing grisly murders using two machetes, which would go on to be recorded as Derek's main weapons of use during his mercenary time days. After doing some time in prison, eventually he goes to prison, but after doing some time there, Derek would be released and now wishes to start a new life.
I see.
However, right after he's released from prison, the town would be met with the same grisly murders. Right after he leaves prison, the murders would continue to happen again, the same way how they would happen back when Derek Wu was on the run, using the same machete weapons that everyone knows is tied with Derek. The twist is this now puts a search for him again from the police. But this time, it's not Derek Wu committing the murders at all. It's not him. So he has to now prove his innocence under the little time he has on the run to find out who the real killer is, why it involves his family's safety, and why are they framing Derek using his weapons. It's crime, it's love, it tests the bounds of friendship, and topping it all off, got an epic fight scene with Jason Yee and Kung Lee, which may be a more well-known name. Yeah. People may be more familiar with Kung Lee.
Of course. I used to watch him in his Strike Force days, even in his K1 days. Yeah, he was in that Dragon Eyes with Van Damme as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember he's nicknamed by the Latinos, takeout or takeaway or something like that. Because he was the Asian boy, so yeah.
No, Dark Warrior is a film that I'm sure not a lot of people have heard of, let alone watched. But I think it should be put out there more. I definitely love the film. It's one of my only few films that I have on my IMDb that I reviewed, that I actually went out and was bothered to review on IMDb. So
I'm making mental notes in my head. The Dark Warrior, then see yes,
Dark Warrior by
the
Jason
Dark
Yee.
Warrior.
Yeah,
Jason Yee, awesome. Okay, that's pretty good stuff. You give me some new ideas here, Habib. And what's your number two?
Number two, this is the film that I thought of last minute, and I don't know why. It's one of my absolute. It's my top two, and how did I not think about it? New Police Story would have made it in my top 5 if I had not thought of this film last minute, and I kicked myself in the head for it.
Yep.
The Crow.
Brandon Lee,
The Crow. I cannot, man. I feel so bad because Brandon Lee, The Crow, directed by Alex Proyas. I think it's how you pronounce his last name. Australian fellow, I believe. I think Brandon Lee said it best. The film is about love, revenge, and coming back from the dead. This movie, The Crow, sings a song to me every time I watch it. I love the setting. I love the atmosphere. Such a unique world. The music.
So dark.
Yeah, man, the gothic style, the music, dude, the characters, the quotes in the film. One of my all-time favorite quotes of in movie history came from the Crow. It can't rain all the time.
I was like, Eric? And then he disappears.
Love it. Love it, man.
Yes,
That
yes,
shit hits
yes.
me all the time. I love that, dude. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it that I have seen ever since. And before then, it really hits. It's a powerful scene, and the film itself is
Yeah.
beautiful. Brandon Lee's legacy, and I cannot believe the amount of times people have tried to recreate it through the
No,
other
it's
attempt.
even
No,
Mark Dacascos tried to create it. There's a new one coming, but I don't think it's going to be as good. But going back to that, like I think my favorite bit is like when she goes into the mansion where they got murdered, and she's like, Eric, like where are you? Blah blah blah, and then she just gives up. The hell with you! I thought you cared. And she goes, he comes out of nowhere, I do care, and then he just comes up to him and just gives him this big hug,
love that, dude.
and
I'm
it's
telling you,
heartwarming.
it
It's
hits me,
heartwarming.
dude. Yeah, and there's nothing, you know. I almost would. It's gonna sound really stupid, but I have no other way of explaining it. But I almost love the universe, the characters, the people of this movie more than I love this today's current world, where there's so many enemies, there's so many different colors out there, there's so many different perspectives and mindsets, and in a world like The Crow, there's black and white, and I mean by there's good and bad. There's pure, there's good and bad. It sounds simple. It sounds like a fantasy, but I'm just saying that the people, I'm sure I'm not the only one, yeah? If you've watched The Crow, you know what I'm saying. The universe is
Yeah.
different. It's unique. It's very unique. Yeah.
Ernie Hudson being the cop. So yeah, that's one of the memorable characters in that movie. Yeah,
Yeah. It was cool.
He's probably the only good guy. I mean, not the only good guy, but he's the most decent character in the whole thing because
100%.
despite
I
all
love
the
that character
evil,
too.
yeah,
Because he's a
despite all the
character
evil,
you could put yourself easily in that character's shoes. Imagine, how are you going to believe somebody who just came back from the dead? Oh, weren't you dead a second ago? But they actually have a conversation. I love the scene where Brendan Lee's character, the Crow, and that police officer are they're in the in an apartment talking with each other for a bit when
yeah,
he first sees them. And the cop has already seen some very supernatural things from this guy.
of course,
And in the end, he tries to leave by using the door, like a regular human.
yeah.
He's like, "You ain't gonna use the window like you came in." He's like, "I thought I'd use the door." I love that scene.
I forgot about that bit, yeah, because it's been like at least 5 years since I last seen it, but it's always good to watch that, yeah. But anyway,
Yeah.
rest in peace, Brendan. I hope you're in a better place. But what is number one?
Number one is Fist of Fury.
Ah!
Fist of Fury. Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee's Fist of Fury, man, I cannot tell you how many times I would rewatch that film. From the first time watching it with my dad to this very day. I still watch that film whenever I kick the chance, and more often than you think. I love the theme of Fist of Fury. A true film of revenge, holding your honor, holding on to your honor, inspiring not only the Chinese, but every single other person in the world. That scene in the dojo when he takes on the school
Yeah, the
and he
judo
says that
guys, yeah.
famous quote, "We are not sick men of Asia." It hit everyone else as well. It hit everyone else because that was truly a message in the movie that you actually felt. If you always knew what it was like to walk around feeling like you were number two, that was a pivotal moment for a lot of people.
Yeah,
For a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
people.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, dude, it's the music that plays in the film. Man, I still remember hearing my dad humming the theme every single time. I'm telling you, dude. And the amount of times he would replay the ending scene, you know,
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
with the where Bruce Lee charges at the men with guns. Instead of him surrendering to them, he just goes, "Screw it, I'm gonna run at you guys. Take me out. Bosworth, I'm taking you down." He will never surrender, and then proceeds to jump up so freaking high up with a flying kick. This movie is the most iconic film to me. Fist of Fury.
That's his
And
best movie.
Jackie Chan was in that film too.
Yeah, he was one of the stunt guys. I
Yeah,
think he
yeah,
was
yeah,
one of the judo guys, wasn't
yeah, yeah. He's in. He was one of. He was the okay. There's a quick scene half early on in the Fist of Fury film where you see the students of the school Bruce Lee's at. They're training with each other. You see a female character with two what do you call it, pigtails?
he? Yep.
She's sparring with a guy. That's Jackie Chan. That's number one.
Yes, yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he
Yeah,
plays two characters. Yeah, one guy
yeah.
in the
He's
Chinese
like the
school.
bad character, the goons, and he's the good character in there.
Yes, yes, yes. And come to think of it, yeah, he was actually like one of those legendary stunts who got the honor to be in the presence of Bruce Lee himself.
That was
And
the film. That was it. That was the film. Yeah, right when he gets kicked out, the what do you call these doors? The Japanese doors that open and close. You know, the door, pretty much.
yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I
Yeah,
don't even know what the name of the doors are. So yeah, so let's just call it the Japanese door. So yeah,
yeah.
so but it's yeah. So
Sorry,
I know what
pretty
you
much.
mean. Yeah, that's his most iconic movie, and it's his best movie.
Yeah,
And I reckon The Way of the Dragon is a close second. You know,
yeah,
because because like I reckon his character was better in The Way of the Dragon because he didn't have as much of a vengeful mind. But I guess
yeah.
like it's different. It's a different
I like it. I like Way of the Dragon. He's just a guy that was put in the middle of a gang. Now he has to defend, the restaurant and people from them. But in Fist of Fury, it is, yeah, pretty much just you killed my teacher. Now I'm coming after you to avenge him. Sounds
That's
very
right.
basic. Sounds very simple, especially now. But Fist of Fury having been one of the perfect blueprints of a film to go out that way,
Yep.
along with Bruce Lee's performances, man, the guy knew how to use his eyes. He knows how to perform
Yeah,
in every
he
way,
had the best. He had the best
dude.
screen presence. Yeah. So
100%, dude.
yeah, he's just one of those guys. Yeah. Oh man, you know what? You got me inspired watching those movies again. I don't even know what to watch anymore. Maybe I'm just gonna watch New Police Story or On Back 2 tonight. See, yeah, because of your
I'll send you
answers
the
there.
link,
So yeah,
man. I'm telling you, they're incredible.
the New Warrior. Okay. Oh, excited, bro. Exciting stuff. But yeah, so thank you for giving me your top five and even your honorable mentions. I don't really have any honorable mentions because I just want to stick to the top five. But
Mhm.
number five for me is Blade 2. So with Wesley Snipes.
Blade 2.
Yes, because a lot of people actually surprisingly like the first one better, but for me, I like the second one better because it's a lot more intense. Because if you've seen it, I'm not going to give you too much away. Have you seen it?
I've seen one of them, but you can already tell how vague it is in my mind. I've seen one of them. I don't know which part it was,
Okay,
but
well,
I know the idea of it pretty much, of course. But no, I haven't seen any of them clearly. I want to rewatch them.
okay. Well, there's three of them. Obviously, part two is in my top five, only because it's so intense that I remember watching it in the cinemas back in 2002. Because for you, you would have been 6 years old back then. For
Okay,
about,
good. Wow.
yeah, so 2002, and I was in year 12. I had a day off from school, and I had nothing else better to do. So I watched it, and I'm just like watching. I was like, run, Wesley, run! And it's just like it's so intense. It's just like, how the hell are these guys going to get out of this impossible-looking situation? Because they have this new breed of vampires that are actually hard to kill. Like they don't know how to kill them. They're not dying, and I'm like with the silver bullets and all that stuff. But you watch it, you'll find out, and it's just yeah, it was so intense to a point. I'm like, wow, this is the wow factor for me. It's definitely within my top five, and
Wow.
I'm not big on Wesley Snipes itself. But anyway, what you call it? Ooh, Lucy's trying to get involved. But don't worry, we'll ignore that for now. But anyway, yeah. So number four for me. What was number four again? Oh, Braveheart. So this isn't actually.
Oh,
Yeah, so this shouldn't be a surprise because I actually share a lot of those things on Facebook or on Instagram, clips
great
and
movie.
inspirational
Great movie.
bits. And
Great
I
movie.
remember 1995, late 1995, I was actually watching that as a little kid, and I've never seen anything that brutal or that disturbing before. And I'm just like, and I had trouble falling asleep because of it. It's not a horror movie,
Yeah.
but it was just
Yeah. No.
it's not a movie for kids. Let's just say that. Now I was 11 years old,
And I
but
think I watched it as a kid too. We broke the rules very early on.
1995. Yeah, I know, but it's just like, and especially the bedroom scene. I remember, like, not the bedroom scene, like obviously the lovemaking scene. Watching it, my dad actually just had to fast forward and like, oh, well, it's an awkward thing. Imagine watching a scene like that, and all of a sudden you're watching it with your parents, and obviously it's the most awkward thing that you can like.
Yeah,
Oh,
of course. I was told to close my eyes. He's like, close your eyes, son. Yep, do it right now, Dad. Mom, sorry.
what worked for me is like, I'm going to go get a drink of water. So now the awkwardness is gone. So, I'm glad I'm not the only one who finds it awkward whenever that comes along. But it's just like, that the character drive, even though there's some historical errors in that film, because I'll tell you about it later. But the thing is, it was still a good movie. It won so many awards. And Mel Gibson, in my opinion, is a very underrated director. He's a very good director, yeah.
100%. Mel Gibson, man, the guy, no, great actor. He really is.
Yeah. And I've shown you a picture of him, me and him in the Opera House. Even though it wasn't a very good experience meeting him because he just wasn't approachable, but I still respect him for that, because imagine being in his level of fame. Almost everywhere you go, you're going to get people bombarding you with, can I get a photo or autograph? But much respect to the guy. Yeah, so we'll get there one day, and then we'll be like, what have we got ourselves into, Habib? Yeah. So, so inspirational quotes, music, almost everything about that movie was the bomb for me. So yeah. But so okay, number 3 is Skyfall.
Oh, okay. Wow. Oh man. That's a close second of my favorite James Bond films. Like, I had GoldenEye there, but like, if it was a top 5 James Bond films, number 2 would be Skyfall for sure.
Okay, so
and that's a hard one, man.
What do you like about the movie? Because for me, it's just like, it wasn't the most character driven, but it's just the whole screenplay and all that stuff. That was everything. I wouldn't say everything, but almost everything about it. It was just like,
with Skyfall, I just love how personal it got to Bond. How personal it became. You got M involved. You got a family involved. Location that ties in with the history of where I believe where Bond is from. Am I correct, or am I butchering the whole thing?
He's from, obviously, like, his father's estate was called Skyfall, and that's why he brought him back there, because he knew that, not only it was a safe haven, but he knew how to lure them in, and he knew how to so he knew his own homeland and estate, so that's why he defeated them. So and he lured them into that thing. So Silva.
Wow, man, and obviously I think the storyline hit well too. It's like it for lack of better ways to put it, it's like they took a page out of GoldenEye's books in terms of facing Bond off against his opposite. Someone that's been there in his shoes before, but he was left to die. He was betrayed, and he held that grudge for so long. Silva did, but yet there is still that affection that he holds for M, but at the same time, there is that anger and hatred, and it corrupted his mind to the point where he commits the things that he does. And I think Bond understands him, but at the same time, as Alex Trevelyan said, he's always loyal to the mission, never to his friend.
That's right. Yeah, because that's what M was about as well, because they signed a contract. The mission comes first, your health and safety is the second thing. But you know what? We can talk about this all day, but this is just, I love this Bond talk. We can continue this when we catch up next time. So, okay. So, number 2 on my list is Equilibrium. Have you heard of it?
I have heard of it. It's the, is that the one with...
Christian Bale.
Never mind. Yeah, okay. I thought... I went all the way to the Equalizer for some reason. Yeah, okay, Equilibrium.
Yeah, so it's just, he's playing an elite kind of policeman, but, at the same time, they're living in a totalitarian society where you're not allowed to feel. But then, when he realizes that the totalitarian regime is actually corrupt and it's not really what it seems it is, he started feeling more, and he started empathizing more with the people who are rebelling against that. So, and the fight scenes, and it's just so spectacular. I've never seen anything like it, just like with the spot fight scenes and the gunfight carters, the gun carter. I'll send you a link later, like to the trailer, and on Instagram or even on Messenger. But it's just so unreal. Like, it's like, whoa, how did he do that? And of course, in real life, you're probably not going to be able to do all that stuff, but it's just so entertaining. It just makes it look so crisp. So the story, not much character drive, in my opinion, but the thing is, it's just the whole story and just the directing and the action scenes is just I almost made Skyfall number 2, but this one here, just like the wow factor. I remember watching it in 2003 the first time with a family friend, and I just got hooked. I can't stop watching it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. So
I gotta watch myself. Definitely haven't seen it, but I would love to see it. The Equilibrium.
Equilibrium, yeah. So it's there's no Z, it's just Equilibrium. But
Equilibrium.
yeah. So it's a Christian Bale Equilibrium, yeah.
Oh,
So I'll send you the link
good.
later, yeah. And number 2, okay. Hopefully this doesn't. Number 1, sorry. Number 1 is Training Day.
Training Day
with Denzel, where he plays the crooked cop with, and he's a
I haven't
crooked
seen
cop.
that either.
Watch it, and it's just the best character-driven movie I've ever watched. Where Denzel plays the crooked cop, and Ethan Hawke is playing his accomplice in his first day in the crash unit. Yeah. So undercover cops.
Denzel Washington, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that actor, man. Like the guy's a badass in all his films.
Yeah. He's the man. Him and Tom Cruise are my favorite actors in today's. Yeah. So the character drive. So that's why. Keep talking. What was it?
No. I was gonna say, well, what's the best synopsis you can give of Training Day?
Best what?
Synopsis, like if you want to lure people in to watch the film, what would you tell them about the film Training Day? What's so good about it that you love?
Okay, the character drive, playing him playing the crooked cop, and the crooked cop who loves to extort other people, and he has hidden agendas, and he has a big hidden agenda on why he hired Ethan Hunt to be a new undercover narcotics cop. So there's a twist into it that you will probably don't get to realize, but you'll see why he's such an evil character from the beginning until the end of the movie, which is actually based on a true story. And the true cop in real life, it wasn't. Denzel's character was called. His name was Alonzo Harris, but in real life it was Rafael Perez. So so he was the undercover narcotics cop. He used to be a good cop, but when he became undercover narcotics cop, he blackmailed a lot of people. If you don't want me to arrest you, give me this much money and I'll overlook it. Yeah, so he did that he went to the Mexican and black ghettos in LA, and he blackmailed a lot of people. And that's how he made a lot of money, through extortion. And eventually he got caught. So, that's the inspiration to Training Day, and that's why they didn't make it a profile of that, but like a biographical movie of that. But it's just they got the inspiration from that Training Day.
Yeah,
so
got you. Wow.
Yeah. So that's my top
your
5.
Number one. That's your number 1 favorite movie. I got to check that one out first. I really do.
Look, it's like 2 hours, but I don't think you're going to regret it, because it's just like it's somewhat action packed. But if you watch it, you'll see why I like it, because of the character drive. You'll see the vulnerability in both characters of what's his name, Ethan and Denzel, and they had a good chemistry there. And when you watch it, we'll talk about it more. Yeah, cool.
We will, 100%. I'm gonna check it out. That's so cool, man. What an awesome top 5, huh?
Yeah, because for me, I already knew it, so that's why I didn't have to research it, and that's why I reckon the next time we do an episode like this, we'll get Mr. Lee on board, and we can talk. We can more like a panel. We can ask him questions, So you and I can ask him questions, and then
that dude. That guy's a man.
Oh yes, but anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in and watching this video. And if you haven't done so, please press the like and subscribe buttons if you're watching this on YouTube. And it's just like that. That's going to help me get encouraged in making more videos like this, because it's about you viewers getting entertained, about our passion for acting. And thank you so much. Do you have any last-minute words there, Hassan, before we conclude?
No, man, this is an awesome podcast, man. Passion for Acting podcast by Miguel. And thanks so much for having me. I really do appreciate it. It's good to be back, and hopefully many more to come. It's like you said early on. This is also a highlight of my day. Thank you so much for having me.
Shukran, Habib. Yeah, so just stay connected. So let's just have a brief chat before we conclude. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, and have a good rest of the day.